Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Driven Shot podcast. My name is Peter Monema, also known as Barça DNA on Twitter. And today's video is a bit of a surprising one. It will be discussing the confirmed departure of Iñigo Martínez. He is leaving FC Barcelona and will be joining Al-Nassr. He will leave as a free agent and will free up around 14 million for Barca to use when it comes to registering players and also as well fighting to balance the books when it comes to FFP. And so, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so this is a very surprising video, not one that I expected to make anytime soon, at least not for maybe, at least one more season. But Iñigo Martínez has officially left the club. And this is a move that has really come out of nowhere, it seems. There weren't any reports that suggested Iñigo would be a player to depart this summer. Of course, the board has been talking about potentially one player leaving, especially one center-back. There were rumors about Araujo, but he's chosen to stay, and the board wants him to be a part of the club going forward next season. There were talks and rumors about Andreas Christensen, but for the most part, Christensen made it clear that he did not want to leave and that he wanted to stay. And so for a while, things went quiet, and there weren't really any talks about anyone else potentially leaving. And all of a sudden now, within just 12 hours, it seems, Iñigo Martínez is now out. He has now been the chosen one, perhaps the sacrifice, who has now left the club. So it's important for us to discuss this and to express not only our thoughts, but then what does this mean for Barcelona going forward. I think the first thing to do, though, is to give Iñigo Martínez his flowers. I think we have to give him the respect that he deserves for what he's done for Barcelona over the past 2 seasons. There were lots of questions when he first arrived, mostly about his fitness level and what he could give to Barcelona at his age. He was 32 when we signed him, and he came in mostly to add squad depth there for Xavi. And he didn't feature too prominently in his first campaign, and there were a few injury issues as well that also plagued him. And so really coming into last season under Hansi Flick, there were many doubts about whether Iñigo would even be a Barca player when Flick arrived. And yet Hansi Flick, when he saw him in training, made it very, very clear and was adamant that he wanted Iñigo to stay, especially given that at that time Araujo was injured, and likewise Andreas Christensen. And so as soon as Hansi Flick saw Iñigo Martínez, he was very, very impressed. He believed that Iñigo would be perfect for his system. And given that there weren't too many resources to go out and sign an active center-back, Flick was very, very keen to keep Iñigo Martínez. And Iñigo repaid Hansi Flick's trust with a brilliant campaign. He fit seamlessly into what Flick wanted to do. He was composed on the ball. He was very, very good at reading the game. He didn't need to be the most imposing, the most dominant, the most physical, but he was one of the smartest players around, really knew how to position himself, how to put himself about the pitch, and read the game very well. Great tackler of the ball, very good 1v1 as well. His passing was outstanding. I mean, we saw some truly mind-numbing passes from Iñigo throughout last season, one of them being the assist for Rafinha's goal at the Bernabeu when Barca won 4-0. It was his ball over the top that led Rafinha in behind to score the chip goal there. There was also a key moment against Atletico Madrid this season in the league when Barca were down 2-0. And for the first goal back for Lewandowski, it was Iñigo Martínez who played a brilliant pass there. He kind of shifted the ball into a wider area, whipped in a ball towards Lewandowski, who controlled it well and then dispatched it. So Iñigo Martínez throughout the campaign had some noteworthy moments. He also scored some big goals for Barcelona in the past season. And he was a player who gave a lot, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch. He was a great leader, a wonderful mentor there to Cubarsí. And you could see that throughout the season, whenever Cubarsí played well and had a good game, Iñigo Martínez was the first player to give him his props, to congratulate him, to encourage him. And so Iñigo really became like a grandfather to many of these younger players. He really became a mentor for them and was a great influence to have, not only as a first team player, not only as a starter, but as someone to encourage the players in training, to lead them, to have that bit of an older head, to be a bit more mature, a bit more calm, to show them how to behave on and off the pitch as players, as professionals. And he was someone who really endeared himself not only to the dressing room, but to the fans. Iñigo Martínez, funnily enough, is a fan favorite at Barca. He's very, very well liked. And so a departure like this, especially one that feels like it came out of nowhere, does hurt, and it really does put the club in a, well, somewhat of a difficult position. We are just about under 10 days until the start of the new season, and for the club to effectively lose a starter in Iñigo Martínez, especially a left-footed player at the back, is really, really, it's a big blow, because up until now, Barcelona do not have a left-footed centre-back, which we've seen, very interestingly, Hansi Flick play Gerard Martin as a left-sided centre-back in preseason. We've seen that experiment been done several times, and now it kind of rings a bit harder now with Iñigo leaving. Was it the case that Flick, in playing Gerard Martin in that role, was perhaps preparing for the departure of Iñigo Martínez? Did he know something that we didn't? Oftentimes, perhaps that could have been in the forefront, in the mind of Flick there, potentially with a departure of Iñigo looming. But ultimately, it's now done. Iñigo Martínez will now leave the club, and it leaves Barcelona in a slightly precarious position going into the season. Of course, what this means as well is there is going to be an added layer of responsibility on Ronald Araujo, who already has been made the captain of the first team now, as there have been some disciplinary measures taken against Marc-Andre ter Stegen, which has relieved him of his captain's duty, and that now has been passed on to Araujo, who will lead the team as they face Como on Sunday. And so we come into this period now where with Araujo, he's going to have more responsibility heaped onto his soldiers. And likewise, the same thing will apply to Christensen, who will also be expected to take on a bigger role this season. And of course, he wanted to stay. He wanted to be a part of the club going forward. And so now he also has a massive opportunity to prove himself and to really establish himself under Hansi Flick as a big name player. Could he regain his status as one of Barca's best defenders under Flick this season? We'll have to wait and see. Now, what's been reported so far is that as of right now, Barcelona are not looking for a potential signing to replace Iñigo Martínez. So for right now, it seems as if the club are happy with the options there, which will be, of course, Kubarsi, who will likely be a starter, Araujo alongside him, and then you've got Christensen as an option, and potentially Gerard Martin alternating between left back and also, of course, a left-sided centre-back. We'll see what that means as well for Jofre Torrens, who was impressed in preseason. Could he now be given an added role to play deputy to Alejandro Balde in order to give Gerard Martin the license there to operate full-time as a left-sided centre-back? We'll have to wait and see what Flick decides on that. But for now, that is the news. Iñigo Martínez has now departed. He will be leaving Barcelona almost imminently now and joining Al-Nassr. Once more, I have to say nothing but respect for Iñigo Martínez. A massive thank you to him for his service, for his commitment to FC Barcelona. He was a player who came in amidst talks of issues regarding registration and finances and wage issues, all these things that were swirling around Barcelona, and yet he was a player who from day one was committed. He wanted Barca. He wanted to wear these colors. He wore them with pride. He really, like I said, he endeared himself to the fans, not only on but off the pitch. He was a wonderful, wonderful influence to have around the dressing room. And overall, he's been a player who in 2 years has given his all. There have been a few reports that said that personally he felt as if he couldn't contribute at the highest level for Barca anymore. And so perhaps that made him more inclined to accept this departure. And if those reports are true, then I have to say I have nothing but full respect for Iñigo Martínez, especially for him being so strong and brave to be able to tell himself, look, I am not at the level needed to play for this club, and to depart on your own terms, to depart knowing that you couldn't give more, and to do so after leading FC Barcelona to a domestic treble. I mean, really, that is one of the highest ways to go out. And last season, he was phenomenal. He was one of the top 5 best defenders in the world. And for him to leave on a high like that and to do so on his own terms with full of respect for the club, it's wonderful. And it really shows another player who knew when his time was up, who knew when he couldn't give more, and decided for his interest and the club's to step away. That is a brave, brave call to make, and it's one that will endear him even more to the fans here at Barcelona. So full respect to Iñigo Martínez, and I wish him nothing but the best there for his future, both in Saudi Arabia and in the world of football. Thank you for your service. And overall, that'll be it for this video today. Barcelona will be in action on Sunday against Como in the Joan Gamper Trophy, the last match, of course, before preseason, and I will see you very, very shortly there for that game. So until then, take care, stay safe, and Visca Barça.